Household range.
मैं अभी जाना चाहती हूँ, वो कब तक खुलते हैं?
Monday to Saturday 8:30 to 8 p.m. and 11 to 5 p.m. on Sunday. और ये बहुत ही साफ और महफूज है और कोविड गाइडलाइंस को फॉलो किया जाता है. तो फिर चलें, शाजिया.
Park Foods. Come and see the difference.
अब खुल गया है देसी रेस्टोरेंट, तो क्यों ना आज ही अपने घर वालों के लिए खाना ऑर्डर करें. हमारे पास फिश पकोड़ा, चिकन पकोड़ा, चरगा स्टीम चिकन, लेम और वेजिटेबल समोसा, बिरयानी, पिज्जा, फलूदा, जलेबी, गुलाब जामुन, समोसा चाट, फ्रेश चिकन और लेम हांडी, लाहौरी चना और बहुत कुछ. ये सब अब आपको मिले सिर्फ और सिर्फ देसी रेस्टोरेंट में. आज की स्पेशल ऑफर, निहारी और पाए एक नान और रोटी के साथ सिर्फ 6 पाउंड में. स्पेशल लंच टाइम ऑफर दिन 12 से 4 बजे तक. चिकन और लेम कड़ी 2 रोटी के साथ सिर्फ 6 पाउंड में. मिक्स वेजिटेबल कड़ी और तड़का दाल 2 रोटी के साथ 5 पाउंड में. तो ऑर्डर करें अभी देसी रेस्टोरेंट online.com पर और ऑनलाइन पेमेंट करें बिल्कुल सेफली. और कॉल कर सकते हैं 01733555795. हमारे पास डिलीवरी भी मौजूद है और 10% डिस्काउंट के साथ आप खुद कलेक्ट भी कर सकते हैं. 298 लिंकन रोड, पीटरबरो, PE1
Peterborough's community radio station, Salaam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome live to Salaam Sports here on Salaam Radio 106.2 FM. Thank you so much for joining us. We've been off for a couple of weeks, but I'm pleased to say we are back. We are back live in the studio with Sadat, Akram. Sadat, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are we doing? How are we doing?
Good. We've never been so busy in the studio.
It's busy, isn't it? Who we got? Who we got in the studio? We got
Who is it?
our very own Bilal Javid from Top Yard School of Boxing. Assalamu alaikum, Bilal.
Walaikum salam.
And we have Akif as well. Akif is a coach at Top Yard School of Boxing. We're going to be talking to these guys about an upcoming show in Peterborough. And while we've got them in the studio, we should talk to them about the Wilder Fury fight, which we didn't really cover because we obviously weren't on air. So definitely talk to them about that.
Weekend, yeah.
What else do we have on the show today, Sadat?
World Cup 2020 starting.
T20 World Cup.
Come on, it starts today.
Do you see the little faux pas from Amir Khan saying, "Oh yeah, Pakistan, it all depends on the match fixing." I mean, how they fix the matches.
But the big question I want to ask for those, because obviously the Asian community.
Speak into the microphone, please, if you don't mind.
This is microphone. Someone's been messing about. I'll go away for a couple of weeks and they all mess about these.
They've had a short person on that seat. So go on.
So the big question I want to ask, right? So we're all big football fans, and on the Asian community, we are.
Bilal's a Chelsea fan, by the way.
It's very rare we have a Chelsea. It's either Man United or Liverpool. Let's be honest.
It's always Man United.
He's a bit of a glory.
So you know what? We will pick his brains.
Chelsea.
We will pick his brains on how
the big match before. I'm not going to go into football. The big match I know is going to be Man United Liverpool. Is it next weekend?
Next weekend, yes.
At the same time, Pakistan versus India. Which one are we watching?
Ooh,
that's the question.
Obviously, yeah. Obviously, football. Yeah.
What? Pakistan India.
Nah,
come on.
Well, if I'm a United fan, I'd probably watch Pakistan India. Thank you so much, everyone joining us on the show. Thank you to Inspire FM as well, projecting us live on the airwaves in Luton 105.1. Thank you so much for joining us, and do get your calls in. We are live on Facebook, so get your comments in on Facebook. Let us know what you want to talk about. I'm just opening it up on my
We've got Junaid Khalil watching.
Junaid Khalil
watching.
Big fan of the show. Junaid Khalil Mohib, big fan of his dad. Watching, get your comments in, guys, and let us know what's going on. Whether you've got any comments about anything we talk about. Bilal, Akif, welcome to the show.
You.
Bilal, you've been on before. Akif, first time on Salaam Radio, on Salaam Sports. You guys, I mean, we talk about this all the time. You guys are doing a fantastic job in the community.
Yes, thank you.
With your guys. COVID's not been kind. You guys have not had a show for the last 18 months or so?
That's correct, yeah. We actually had a show planned and then COVID kicked in, so we had to obviously cancel that.
Okay, so this is the first, so you guys have got a home show at Glaston Park Community Centre next Sunday.
Yeah.
Right, tell us a little bit about who you got on the card.
So basically, next Sunday, October the 24th, doors open just after 12 o'clock. First fight's at 1 o'clock.
Who's your MC?
There's only one main.
There's
man.
only one.
Thank you.
I can't do.
Thank you.
I can't do this show
Exactly.
next week because I'm going to be emceeing at the boxing. So
yeah.
Unless you
I'll,
wanna
I'll be
use-
at the boxing
No
as well.
pressure, sir.
I'm welfare officer at the boxing. I'll be there.
we might have to think about how we can do a
We might
live
have to
show
just postpone
from
it.
the boxing. But yeah, go on. How many bouts
So
do you
we've
have?
got 17 bouts confirmed.
That's a
for
big show.
Sunday. Yeah, it's a big show. We've
Wow.
got 5 skills, and the remaining are club bouts. So the
Okay.
5 skills are basically kids from the age of 10 till
Yeah.
around about 12.
Okay.
And basically, it's their first time they'll be entering the ring in front
Brilliant.
of an audience.
Wow.
Adam's one of them. I got.
Oh, Adam's having his
boy.
first
Yeah.
fight.
His first fight. So
Excellent.
yeah, we'll get him in there, see what it's all about. They've been working really hard for a number of months now, so it's only fair to
And I've
see.
seen it all over social
Yeah.
media. I don't know if you've noticed this as well, but these guys out running, hill running,
Yeah.
sprinting, track work, all that kind of stuff. Like the park run, they're doing park run as well.
That's thanks to
Yeah, is that Akif? Yeah, so Akif,
park
tell me a
run
little bit about
sprints.
your involvement with the club. How long you've been involved? What do
I've
you
been
do?
involved in amateur boxing 6 years. So I'm a level 2 coach. So I've started with Top Yard about a month ago. My 2 boys box for Top Yard as well. 2 boys box for Top Yard as well. And you know what? I've been there a month and I'm gobsmacked at the talent there.
Yeah.
And the number of kids that we have in the community, you know, and I'm not talking just our community.
Sure.
It's a multicultural
Yeah.
community. And you know, from all sorts, you know, we've got a massive travelling community. We've got a massive travelling community as well, and the talent there is unbelievable.
You mentioned the travelling community. I mean, it's boxing has always been traditionally a big sport that the travelling community do
Yeah.
take a lot of part in. I mean, you've had a number of fights with a lot of people from the travelling community. They really know their boxing, don't they? They're really.
They love fighting. I mean,
Absolutely.
we've, you know, obviously you saw Santino box last time, and you were.
So I was
amazed
going to
about
come
that.
on to him, yeah.
So we've got another 7, 8 join, and many of them making their debuts, little kids, but they love
Okay.
fighting, and you know they are really good. We just have to guide them right and make sure they know their skills very well, and then put them in practice. But they love fighting. They're fearless. They're not scared.
So the thing with kids, boys, especially the age of 9, 10, 11, 12, they don't really want to. I mean, they're scared of the confrontation. Getting them into the ring is just overcoming that hurdle, isn't it? I mean, do you find like once they've had a few sparring sessions, they're like ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, the buzz they get is, I mean, when they're young, they just want encouragement and
Yeah.
build up, and they get their fitness level up, and you know, so. Park run you mentioned. I mean, I've been doing the park run. I don't do it particularly myself, as you can see, but my boys do the park run. So we're starting to sort of take some of the Top Yard boys to the park run. And
Yeah.
it's fantastic times.
Brilliant.
I mean, you know, if you have someone who's maybe done 1 or 2. I mean, only a few weeks ago, I'm going to mention a name, but I was gobsmacked, and I took him and
knows him.
Freddie.
I know Freddie.
You know,
Well, I know of Freddie. Sorry,
you know,
I know of
he's
Freddie.
doing the park
I know
run.
of Freddie, and I know of Freddie's times.
Yeah,
16:55.
16:55.
Yeah. He came third in Peterborough Park Run, wasn't he? Was
He
it?
did,
Yeah,
he did. So
That's-
I took a group
yeah.
of
Wow.
like 4 kids, and you know they all smash it, all under 20 minutes. I mean,
How old is Freddie?
Freddie is 16.
Yeah, so he could
Mashallah.
potentially be, you know, an athlete. Like, and he could be,
Yeah.
he
Oh,
could,
he's an
he could be
athlete already.
competing for like Cambridgeshire Athletics or whatever. He could be doing a 5K. You know, that's a decent time. Like, I think, like Mo Farah's 10K time was about 30 odd minutes, 31 minutes. So his 5K time is going to be
Yeah.
about 14 minutes or something, right?
Yeah.
So if he's doing 17 minutes at the age of 16, I mean, that's just ridiculous. So what's your PB on a 5K?
Oh,
30 plus, isn't it?
I stopped. You know, I stopped counting.
He stopped
I was
counting 'cause
Yeah,
it's
I
got
thought
long.
this is.
Watch
I'm
run out
not
of
even sure if
battery.
this is working.
Watch run out
This
of
watch is
battery,
working.
yeah.
Yeah. I see, I don't have no smartwatches or Fitbits or anything like that. You know, I don't rely on those sort
As
of
long
stuff.
as you do the distance.
But
Yeah.
what it
doesn't matter
shows you is
the
how
time.
hard this sport is, because you can run a park run in 16:55, 17, under 20 minutes. You're fit.
You're doing well, yeah.
Wow.
Get in there for 3 rounds, 2-minute rounds. I mean, you ask my boys, would you rather do a 10K at a fast pace or this? They'd say, I'd rather do a 10K
Yeah.
because it's fitness. It's you're building up to this, and that's what we've been doing.
Fighting
I think
fitness,
over the
yeah.
last, the month that I've been there, we train 3 times a week. We're doing the park run.
Yeah.
For the few that want to come. It's not easy for everyone to get to a park run. Some people work, in your school work, the education side.
Quite early in the mornings as well, I find.
Yeah, but
Nine in the morning.
it's a good discipline to have. However, one thing we've said is, let's get to these sprints, and mashallah, everyone is turning up.
15,
today we
15
had
to 20.
15, and considering we've got probably 7 or 8 who were missing from the travelling community.
So
Today,
I don't know if you know about me. Bilal obviously knows, but I've trained with an amateur boxer. I've helped Hamad train for some of his fights when he was, I think when he fought in Leicester, and I was doing a track session with him. So he was doing a sprint with me, and then I'd walk back to the start. He'd walk 100 meters. He'd do a sprint by himself.
Yeah.
Then he'd walk 100 meters, and at the start, he'd always give me like a 10-meter head start as well. Sprint with him, and we'd do that non-stop for a round. He did like 5 rounds. So he'd do something like 20 odd sprints, and I would do 10, but of the 10, like I'd do like 6, right? And then the 4, you're like completely gassed. I've had people like Shafiq, he was training with us once, he was throwing up because of the effort that he'd exerted. And Hamad, I mean, he's a big guy, and he wasn't even, when he got to the fight, he still wasn't fight ready.
Yeah.
So to have that level of fitness on the track,
It's that ring fitness,
the ring fitness is just completely different,
the conditioning that you do with the bag work, pad work, and we do body sparring a lot as well, and then we do a lot of sparring as well.
Yeah.
So that is the best way to build your fitness in the ring. Because it's right, you could run a 5K in 15 minutes. It don't mean you're going to be fighting fit in the ring, because that's a ton of fitness. So we really mix it up well, and Akram's done well to take on the park run and hill sprints, which are obviously we do it together, but like even this morning we had about 15 other kids there sprinting.
I mean, I do a bit of running. I mean, and then I've been sick after I've run. It's when the coach puts me on, there's a substitute. I run onto the pitch and I just felt sick. It was like get into my position for the Vets game. Get into left back, and that's I felt
couple of
really
weeks
sick.
time, just join
I
us.
should do. I would love to be honest. But
No, I'd definitely.
And then you can talk
I'd
about your
tag the
experiences.
Yeah, no, so I've got one of those barcode things. So I used to do parkour, and I think my PB is about 26 or 27 or something. It's not.
That's a good.
It's not.
That's a good time.
It's not bad for somebody my weight, but yeah, I'm not going to keep up with Freddie. But it's definitely what I want to get involved in.
I mean, you started off. Sorry, to interrupt. You started off like obviously with the COVID and the times, but to be honest, since you started, you've had quite a few quite big stumbling. You know, the fire and everything, the readjusting. Do you ever thought of throwing in the towel? No. It's just amazing that the amount of blocks that you've had, and you've had to go across and keep going on in this community to help everyone out.
Yeah, we wouldn't quit because otherwise you'd be letting down a lot.
I didn't think
of kids,
you would. I mean, to be honest, I thought the answer would be obviously no, but I just thought it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we've had good support from the mosque as well, who are our landlord, and they've obviously helped us during time of COVID, so that's really good.
Yeah, because you're closed, you're not using the place. What can you do? Yeah.
And when we have started again, England Boxing have helped, our local sponsors. I mean, I've got all of our sponsors on our T-shirt, and they've been brilliant.
Shout out to all the sponsors. No, mashallah. I mean, none of this is possible without the sponsors. Obviously, we're obviously grateful for that. So let's talk a little bit about the show then. So you've got, is Santino fighting?
Yes.
Is Freddie on there?
Yep.
Freddie's on there as well.
Junaid Ali's on there.
Junaid Ali's on there. He's obviously a big pull as well.
Sadat.
What about Bismillah? That girl, Bismillah.
She's joined our camp quite late, so she's actually fighting in about 3 weeks' time at a different show. But we have got a female fighter.
You've got a few girl fighters. How many girls bouts have you? One girl bout.
One girl bout, but it's from St Ives Club, who are literally a good friend of ours, and they've got a female fighting, Megan Morris, and she's really good.
Very
so
good.
It's going to be.
I was at a show a few weeks ago with Bilal, and I was gobsmacked. I mean, that girl is absolutely unbelievable.
She's a senior fighter, 18, but she's I think she's like had something like 18, 115. And she's very good. Yeah, she's really good.
So looking forward to seeing that. Looking forward to seeing that.
It's a real one.
Like, who are you most excited about seeing? I mean, obviously you can't pick a favourite, but who have you worked most closely with? Whose journey are you most interested in right now?
Actually, let's talk about the ones that haven't had a fight yet. Who you are excited about? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think I'm excited about. We've got little the ones who are going to have the skills.
Yeah.
Because I've been working quite a lot with the younger ones. It's their first one. They're really excited. They're at the sprints all the time, and just to see their face when they get out there and they do it, and they're ready. To be fair, I think all of them are ready.
Okay.
They've all been working their socks off. In terms of the senior back, I'm really looking forward to watching Shaz.
Yeah.
Shaz Aslam, he has really worked so hard, and he was sparring on Friday, and his level's gone just up and up. But it's hard to pick one. I mean, I've been there a month, and I tell you what, we're a little family, and everyone is sparring, everyone's working hard. it'd be nice to see all of them on there. So
Yeah, just do well on that.
question.
And how many top yard fighters are fighting? Obviously, you've got 15 odd bouts.
So 17 bouts, so 16 top yard fighters.
16 top yard fighters. So pretty much.
We've actually got 25 registered fighters,
Yeah.
but we can't have them all on there. So it's possible that we could have had another 3-4, but you just can't because of the show. So what we've done is we've got on many other bouts throughout November.
Yeah.
So it's
Brilliant.
starting at 12, we're saying, did we say on Sunday?
So doors open from 12 o'clock,
Right.
and the first bout is 1 o'clock. So the best thing to do is get there from 12:30 to 12:45.
12:30 to 12:45.
Brilliant.
You had it here, guys. Support the show. Come along. Tickets are
Tickets are basically £10 for adults,
£5
and
for children.
£5 for up to 8 years old.
Yeah.
Best thing to do is contact us on Facebook, Top
Yeah.
Yard School of Boxing, and it's good to get the tickets before, otherwise there'll be more on the door.
Yeah.
So we've got
Get your tickets,
available.
guys. Yeah, Top Yard
Yes.
School of Boxing on Facebook. Get in touch with
and
them
it's a
and get hold
great
of
day
tickets.
out. Great day out.
It is, yeah. I
Because
absolutely love
the
it.
food
I
is
think-
absolutely fantastic there for everyone.
Yeah,
The
that's the
biryani
best
and the
part.
Who's doing the catering?
Oh, yeah.
Is
it Mirage?
No, Ray's Abbas, is it?
Oh, yeah, Race. Yeah,
What's on
yeah.
the
My
menu?
cousin.
Yeah,
My cousin's
there you
cooking.
go.
Yeah.
What's on the
no,
menu then? You should know what's on the menu. What's
Right,
on
he's
the
going to
menu?
have samosa chaat. He's going to have biryani,
Samosa.
obviously. Yeah. So yeah, just get down.
You
Get
lost the
down.
biryani challenge, by the way, if you remember on that.
I didn't lose the biryani challenge. We can talk about that some other time. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Do stay with us. We're going to go move on to other sports now. Definitely want to get your input. Okay, feel free to jump in whenever you want. We're going to move on to the football, and I think we've got somebody on the phone. Assalamu alaikum. Is anybody on the phone?
What is Tom?
Oh, Rashid is on the phone. Oh, Akif, you can't hear him.
That's fine.
But we'll get you in as and when. Rashid, we've just been joined in the studio here with Bilal and Akif from the Top Yard School of Boxing. They've got an amateur show, and we've just finished talking about that. And we're going to move on to the football.
I
Okay.
just want to say, it sounds amazing the work they've been doing. So hats off to them on what they do in terms of the local community, and especially the last 18 months with COVID. So yeah.
Yeah, these guys have been...
Respect to those guys for what they do.
Yeah, in fact, I think you might have managed Hamad in a match. I think Hamad might have come down and played football at Leicester Uni.
Really?
You might have. Yeah, I think he did. I know Nadzi came down
Was
one
he a
game.
ringer? Is that what they're known? When they're not even out of the uni?
Yeah, the fullback, yeah.
Yeah.
No, was it 5-a-side or 7-a-side?
No, we used to play 11-side at uni.
11-a-side.
Yeah,
that
this
must have
is
been-
so Rashid is
Oh, right, okay.
my manager, my football manager from
Okay.
university, and my housemate, and yeah.
Was that allowed for him to go and play for Leicester when he doesn't go?
He was 2 years younger than the other players, so he was
I
fine.
don't care if he's 5 years younger. The fact is, he's not part of Leicester Uni.
Right, moving on. What are we talking about?
Well, we
T20
did-
World Cup.
T20 World Cup. Yeah, I mean, Rashid, I don't know if he's a
A
cricket
massive cricket fan.
Yeah, so what are you going to watch, Rashid? Man United versus Liverpool.
Man United, Liverpool, or
versus
Pakistan, India. Rashid?
Clash on the same day.
At this stage, I don't know, because we'll probably lose both. Pakistan normally lose to India, and at this stage, United will lose to Liverpool.
Well-
I don't know. I might just be a hermit for that day.
Well, I think
They
I
broke
mean,
the jinx, though, Pakistan, talking about cricket. They broke the jinx because they beat them in the final in the ICC the tournament, because that's the first time that Pakistan beat India in any ICC tournament.
That was the thing, though. That was, what do you call it? It was an ICC competition, but it wasn't like the T20 World Cup and ODI World Cup. I
Hey,
mean,
it's a competition. Don't do that.
yeah, competition is a competition. I think you got to take your wins when you get them. But I mean,
oh yeah, we do. Pakistan, we need it.
who are favourites? I mean, England must be up there.
England,
Australia must be up
No,
there.
I wouldn't put England.
Really?
Really?
Don't think England got the bowling attack for a T20. I mean, I know you just England have got, yeah, they've got amazing batsmen. Fair enough, England has, but I don't think England got an all-round team.
I don't think there's a total out there that England can't chase.
They can't, but can England do it? Hit spin, high quality spin. Can England do it against high quality spin? That's what you've got to ask.
I mean, I don't know what their record is in Dubai, because obviously it's been held up there in Oman. But I think they're doing pretty well over there when they played a few games there. I think England's good shout. Australia, England. Who else is that? I'm thinking. Who else?
I would say India,
India.
New Zealand,
You can't
India,
rule
New
India out.
Zealand, and then
No, you can never rule India out. Yeah.
Who's your favourite, Sadat? Who do you think is
Pakistan.
going to... Pakistan.
I'm backing
Are you
Pakistan.
serious?
Yeah. Pakistan. Look, they're on the day they can beat anybody.
Seriously, though, who do you think's going to win? Rashid?
I'm just going to go for New Zealand just to be the safe option. So I'm never going to say India, and I'm not going to say England. And I'm not. Well, we know with Pakistan, it's just on the day.
Oh, it's a good question. Sorry.
It's like with Pakistan, it's like, you know what? You just throw the stuff up in the air and you just see how it lands on a particular day. What's the comments?
The comment, I was going to read this one. It's a pretty good one from him. Rather have Pakistan win and United lose than India win and United win. Would you agree with that, or would you? Where would you go?
Yeah. If you had to choose United, no, Rashid would definitely choose United, guaranteed.
Rashid.
If I wouldn't mind Pakistan losing in the opening stages like we did in the thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
No. We won in final. We absolutely battered India in
Pakistan
final.
got to beat India. I could accept United losing to Liverpool if Pakistan beat India.
Pakistan win and Liverpool win, yeah.
Yeah, I can live with that.
Yeah, I can live with the Pakistan win.
I can live with that if Pakistan wins, yeah.
Right, listen,
it's not going to make too much difference in the Premier League.
Let's move on from that. Actually, no, we were going to talk about the Fury Wilder, weren't we? Let me get back to you, Bilal. You obviously saw the fight.
Yes.
I saw the fight. Oh
Wow.
my God! Like,
Great
what a
fight.
firstly, what a fight!
Brilliant fight.
Sensational, wasn't it? I've not been too entertained by too many heavyweight bouts over the years. This was one of the special ones. Fury had it all figured out.
Yeah.
You have to say he basically won that fight before he went into the ring.
So I've always said
Wilder
that.
showed no respect at the end either, did he?
Yeah.
I don't know, how often that happens.
Took him a week.
Took him a week to show respect.
Yeah, so basically, I've always said Fury's the number one. I don't think any heavyweight can beat him. And with that fight, I thought, well, Wilder's only got 4 or 5 rounds to really go for him and take him out. Anything longer than that, I had Fury to win.
But in their first fight, Wilder landed that knockout blow that wasn't quite a knockout blow, pretty much in the last round, right?
Yeah.
So you'd think that maybe
I had
Wilder
Fury winning by a few rounds in that first fight, but then obviously they had it down as a draw.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And then obviously second, we know what happened in the second. And with the third, I had it down as Fury winning by from round 6 to 8 by knockout, and then we all know what happened. So,
So Wilder was. Do you think? Is it fair to say? I mean, I'm not a great boxing expert, but would you say he's got the punch that can knock anybody out?
Yeah, he's got the knockout power.
He's
but
he's not got the boxing skills.
Yeah, that's correct.
So he's very much a United of moments. There's a moments. They're a moment team. They have the moments. He has his moments.
Just for the benefit of our listeners, like these United fans are hurting. Like I know Rashid on
like Pogba.
Rashid on the phone, and Sadat here in the studio, and Bidan's going to join us in the second half as well. Guys, we don't have to talk about United. I know you keep bringing it back to United. We don't have to talk to them.
It's a moment thing, isn't it? So United have good moments in games, and
you could have said Pakistan cricket team.
Yeah, that's true. They have a moment game.
No,
but that's a whole game, though, isn't it? It's not a moment in a game. So with United, it'll be a moment in a game, and with Wilder, it's a moment in the boxing match.
Okay, forget that. Okay, do you see any other heavyweight out there? I mean, I want to talk about Joshua. Right, I'm a fan. I know.
I'm a big fan of Joshua.
I'm a massive fan of Joshua, and I hate the fact that, you know what, anybody who knows anything about boxing has just written him off, and they've been proved right. I know you've said you've not said he's a big time Charlie, but you said he's a bit overhyped. Ishfaq Ali, who's listening to the show, he's always going on about how Joshua's overrated. He's just like he's a really good marketing package, right? And he gets boosted. And it's a damn shame because I want him to do well. So what is it? What is it with Joshua? What's holding him back?
I just think there's no one who can beat Tyson Fury at this moment in time. He is just far too clever. He has a boxing brain. He might not look like a boxer.
In the best shape.
Yeah.
He may not look like a boxer in the best shape, but it just shows you he's got heart.
Yeah.
And we've gone back to this.
There was a slow-mo video of him taking a punch to the face, and the punch went through his body. His whole fat rippled all the way down to his waist. But it's incredible.
You don't have to have a great body. So
would you put Joshua second? Sorry, we say okay, Fury's he's number one. But would you put Joshua ahead of Wilder, or Wilder, Joshua, or even Joshua in the top 3?
I think Wilder's got the potential to stop Joshua.
Yeah.
Quite quickly,
and Joshua is hit. You can hit
Joshua's
Joshua.
another Khan.
Yeah, Joshua's
another Khan. He's got a glass jaw. Joshua's got a glass jaw.
But he learned from his first loss, didn't he? When he lost his first.
He beat. I mean, this is the thing. That's the thing. That's probably the best fight. That's the best heavyweight fight I think I've seen is the Joshua.
I think Joshua's best performance was against Klitschko.
But then you caveat that
against Usyk.
But then you caveat that by saying Klitschko was literally on his last legs, right? He wasn't in his prime.
Klitschko did put Joshua down as well.
He did, yeah. It was a good fight.
So-
But would Joshua have beaten Klitschko in his prime?
Probably not.
5 years earlier. It's not going to happen, is it? I don't know. It's a shame. So it looks like Fury's going to dominate.
Yeah.
Fury can't be a great champion unless he has some great bouts, and it doesn't look like anybody else is on his level right now.
So basically, I think what's going to happen is, Joshua's basically said he wants a rematch. He's activated it, and then I think Fury will then fight the winner, because then that's going to have all undisputed for all the belts.
Yeah.
So, and I think after that, once Fury wins that, I think he'll then retire.
So, question for you then:
retire? How old is? Sorry, I don't know. How old is he?
Mid-30s?
His mid to late 30s. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he took a,
32.
he took a lot. He took a lot of effort trying to get back into the ring after his long break, didn't he? And he had mental health issues and all that kind of stuff.
And hat off to him for doing what he's done.
Yeah.
Because boxing's not just about. It's about a lot of people have issues out there, and a lot of people get into that ring, and
So one thing I'm worried about. So as a British boxing fan, I'm not a massive fan of boxing, but I follow British boxing and obviously big fights. Wilder Fury, the first one was a draw. Because of that, the crowd demanded a rematch.
Yeah.
In the rematch, there was a rematch clause inserted by Wilder, thinking if I lose, I want another chance.
Yeah.
And that was included. He lost, he got another chance. That's why we had the third fight.
Yes.
Now that Usyk's beat Joshua, Usyk's going to insert a rematch clause. If I lose to Joshua, I want a rematch. That's inevitable, right?
He can do. Yeah, he can do.
If he did that, then
can he do that?
Joshua's got to beat him twice to get the opportunity to fight.
I assume this rematch that's happening between them would have been in the original contract. So the
original contract would have assumed that Joshua's going to win.
Yeah, but I'm sure he would have put a clause like he has done.
Joshua, had a
clause. So Joshua's clause was if I lose, rematch.
So this second rematch should be within that contract, original contract, yeah? So why would there be another contract for him to fight Usyk again?
That obviously depends on the promoters, but basically the person who's like a world champion...
You got legal background.
World champion,
yeah, I have.
He's got legal background.
He'll put down... so whoever's a world champion will put down a clause that, if I lose, I want at least a chance.
And Usyk's got the belt, hasn't he?
Yeah, and Usyk's got the belt. So
that can't be... I can't get my head around. I think like every fight would have a rematch clause.
Yeah, but it doesn't really happen like that. No. It won't happen. And I think what will happen is Fury will then will fight Usyk, beat him, and then once he's got all the belts, he'll retire.
Swings around about. It's a bad day in the office.
You reckon Usyk will win the rematch?
Usyk will win the rematch against.
Oh man, don't say that. I don't like when you say that.
You said that.
Don't like when you say that.
Yeah, he will.
Anthony Joshua fought the wrong fight anyway, tactics-wise. He should have literally used his weight.
If you want to be the best in the world, you've got to beat everyone, haven't you? And Fury will take anyone.
Well, isn't that a good thing about Joshua? He doesn't. Well, I suppose
that's
Fury.
what. Yeah.
Okay. We're coming up to the break, so I just want to take this opportunity to thank both of the guys from Top Year School of Boxing to come in. Thank you both so much for speaking about the show. Support the show, guys. Next week it's Sunday from 12 o'clock, Gladstone Park Community Centre. Get your tickets on Facebook and support the show. Thank you so much for joining us. In the second half of the show, we're going to be talking football. Lots going on. Everybody wants to be talking about Mo Salah. Ole in, Ole out. Lots and lots to talk about and discuss. We'll have Bidam joining us as well. And we might even mention Chelsea, seeing as Bilal's in the studio today. Join us in a few minutes. Thank you.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
हाँ बिलाल, मैं हमारी ग्रॉसरी और हलाल मीट के लिए मुख्तलिफ स्टोर्स पर जाते जाते थक चुकी हूँ। पार्किंग हमेशा से एक मसला रहा है और मुझे आखिरी बार एक पार्किंग टिकट भी मिला है।
कितनी दफा बता चुका हूँ, 232 लिंकन रोड पीटरबरो पर पार्क फूड्स को ट्राई करो। ये कैम्ब्रिजशायर की सबसे बड़ी एथनिक सुपरमार्केट है और उनके पास 1 घंटे के लिए फ्री कस्टमर कार पार्क है।
वाओ, रियली? लेकिन क्या मैं वहाँ से सब कुछ खरीद सकती हूँ?
Yes. Fresh quality fruit, vegetables, dairy product, halal meat and poultry delivered every day. Really is a one-stop shop. Plus, Park Foods carry a huge range of brands from around the world and thousands of products in their daily use household range.
मैं अभी जाना चाहती हूँ। वो कब तक खुलते हैं?
Monday to Saturday, 8:30 to 8 p.m. and 11 to 5 p.m. on Sunday. और ये बहुत ही साफ और महफूज है और कोविड गाइडलाइंस को फॉलो किया जाता है। तो फिर चलें, शाजिया।
Park Foods. Come and see the difference.
Peterborough. Who said good quality fried and grilled chicken has to be expensive? At Sam's, we take pride in every piece of chicken that leaves our kitchen. Just one bite of our chicken or burgers is all it takes to realise we are the best. Visit us at our brand new place at 333 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PF. Or order a delivery through Just Eat, Uber or Deliveroo. Sam's, the home of great tasting chicken for over 30 years.
It's estimated that 5,760 children become orphaned every day, and the numbers are rising. UKIM ensures that the orphans we sponsor receive healthcare, food, education and shelter to show them that there are people who care. This Ramadan, from just £30 per month, you can make a real change in an orphan's life. Your sponsorship will provide them with much needed essentials to ease their situation. For orphan sponsorship, call now or visit ukim.org.
दोस्ता कियां परेशान है
जरा करे ना सारा सौदा मुक्या वा मुल्का विच पैसे भेजने
हूं नहीं मार फूड वाले की फोन खड़का ते फ्री लोकल डिलीवरी कार मंगवा
आला ता उथे का स्पेशल आ
उना की लबाई हाइजीन च ग्रेड 5 चीजें चंगियां मियारी ते सस्तियां ते नाले ऑफरां ही ऑफरां
और क्या
ताजा गोश्त ताजी सब्जियां ते फ्रूट आटा चावल दालां मसाले ते जूस सारे बिल जमा करने गैस ते इलेक्ट्रिक नो टॉप अप भी करने पाकिस्तान पैसे बिल्कुल फ्री भेजने मतलब के एक चिड़ी ने दूध छड़ी ते हर शय लबनी
और जने ने आप उतरा
Amar Food Store and Halal Meat 613B Lincoln Road Peterborough telephone 01733 687374.
Looking for high quality and effective laser hair removal using best in the world laser technology? Here at the Beautiful Truth in Peterborough City Centre, we have the new Soprano Titanium Laser System. With its patented sapphire cooling tip and multi-wavelength technology, treatments are quick, painless and highly effective for all skin types and hair colours. Come and meet the team for a consultation today. The Beautiful Truth, 40 Cowgate, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 555540.
In the heart of Cambridgeshire, this is Salaam Radio.
Assalamu alaikum, this is Salaam Radio and we're back live, Salaam Sports 106.2 FM and Inspire FM 105.1. Thank you so much for joining us again. And we have now got the pleasure of Bidan's company as well to join us alongside Rashid on the phone and Sadat in the studio. Bidan, hi.
Hey, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, really, really good, really good. I'm doing really good.
Bidan,
I'm doing really good.
Bidan, are you a cricket fan?
Bidan, are you a cricket fan?
Not hugely. I know enough about the game to follow it, but I don't.
You don't follow it.
So you're
Agbona.
Oh wow!
Agbona just scored.
Yeah,
West Ham. Is that 1-0? Because it was 0-0 when I was watching it.
West Ham, yeah.
Do you know what? That's a really good game. The Everton. At Everton. That's a really good game actually. I saw the first 40 odd minutes of it, and it did look quite tasty. Iwobi missed an absolute shocker, didn't he? Early on, but never mind. Let's get into the second half of the show. We are talking about all things football in the second half of the show. Bidan, where do you want to kick off, mate?
Yeah, where do you want to kick off? Dan, where would you like to do that?
Well, obviously we forwarded around an itinerary, and we were going to talk about the United situation and our result yesterday, and you know, obviously the age-old question of Ollie in or Ollie out. So
it is the age-old question, and I feel like did you watch Match of the Day last night?
I did.
I just felt like they added a snippet of Paul Pogba, and it was not even an interview. It was just like he just made a throwaway comment. I'm sure they spoke to him and asked him a number of questions, but they added just that little bit where he was saying something like, you know, there's confusion, there's uncertainty, something like that. And I feel like, you know, there's the knives are out now, certainly in the media around Ole. Did you feel that, Sadat?
Yeah, I think media, everyone sense it around that with the players that they have, that they feel they should be doing a lot more.
Yeah. And
to be honest, he's not. He seems to go one step forward, two steps back.
Rashid, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, there is. But that's because he's had he's had the time, the space, do what he wants to do, build the squad with what he wants. In general, it seems, get the players he wanted. And obviously he's struggled so far. I mean, fair enough, United are 5th or 6th now, but you don't lose to Villa at home in that way. You don't lose to Leicester like that. And by all accounts, and I know it's quite easy for people to just mock Harry Maguire, but if it's true, Harry Maguire only had one training session on a Friday after being at that for almost a month, and then you play him, then I'm sorry. So then, those criticisms are correct for Solskjaer.
Having said that, Rash, though, Maguire yesterday, I mean, obviously one thing that even we knew when we played football was that if someone passes you the ball, you just don't wait there.
You don't wait
No,
there.
the schoolboy era. Very much a schoolboy era.
And then did you see the marking for Vardy's goal? Vardy had peeled off. And for some reason, Maguire
kept going.
Decides to try and go and tackle the person with the ball, even though there was a defender between him and the person with the ball. So
do you know when you raised that yesterday? And I thought I'd watch that carefully because you'd obviously made a point. And Vardy checked his run, and Maguire went out to him initially, and I thought that's what's Bidan talking about. But then Vardy hasn't moved, and then he decides to run back into the 6-yard box and attack the ball. It is crazy. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, it reflects what Rashid's saying about maybe he wasn't quite match sharp enough, because those kinds of things, you need 2-3 games under your belt, or certainly a couple of weeks of training before you get back in.
With England image over the summer, he had at least 2 to 3 weeks of non-stop training, and he missed the first 2 games.
Yeah.
And then when he came in, he was just flawless. He was ended up being England's best defender.
So I just want to ask Bidan specifically this question, because Bidan, I know you talk a lot about Manchester United's setup and how they set up, and I know Rashid and we're both, I think, fans of the 4-2-3-1, which is what United went with yesterday. But Bidan, you've got some issues with maybe not the formation, but the personnel.
Yeah. So obviously, look, when you saw in the WhatsApp group yesterday, I was like, Pogba and Matip as the two holding, and I know Fred had been on international duty and was quarantining or whatever, but McTominay was on the bench. I don't know whether he was fit enough to start, but you can't play Pogba and Matip in that centre midfield. And just to go back to your earlier comments about Pogba just needs to keep his mouth shut if he's not going to sign a new contract. Honestly, if he's not going to sign a new contract, what's it got to do with him?
I thought Matip had a good game.
Matip was all right, but the problem with Pogba in central midfield is that he's not the type of guy who's going to be like... Did you see that thing in match today where it's just like centre-back to centre midfielder to centre forward?
Yes.
Like, that just cannot happen.
So, one of the big successes of a passing team is to be able to pass between the lines. And United made it easy for Leicester to pass between the lines.
It was just too easy. I mean, let's be honest. From the kick-off, we could see that happening.
At one stage, we know as well, we talk about this a lot, Matip, 4 years ago, would have been brilliant for United.
Yes.
He literally played in a single pivot.
Yes.
You can't play a double pivot anywhere in the Premier League with Pogba. You can't. Even with Kante, you can't. I mean, the game against France v Switzerland, it highlighted both sides of Pogba's game when he played when they were playing the 3-4-3 system, right?
Yeah.
And they had Kante and Pogba. Pogba scores an absolute worldie, right?
Yep.
Against Switzerland, then gets caught out for the equaliser, and it goes to 3-3 or whatever, right? That's the problem. Pogba can't do that, and Matip, he hasn't got the mobility. And yesterday, De Gea's world-class save, where he,
sensational save. That was the best.
Matic getting caught out when he tried to
Matic,
and then Pogba wasn't able to cover for him.
I was just going to say this, Rashid. I was going to say this. Like, there's something that's been drilled into my head as playing in the centre midfield. Like from when I was really, really young, my manager always used to say, "You got to think what if." And that what if is your partner lets you down, or your pass is short, or somebody doesn't quite make it. You got to think what if. Yeah. What do we do? And Matic, he kind of found himself into a hole and he tried digging the ball out, but Pogba at no moment, at no point in that movement did he think, what if Matic loses it here? And it's Tielemans. Tielemans, like, he's one of the best players in the world whenever he plays against Manchester United. I don't know what it is. He literally raises his game.
Games,
even last season, he had like one of the matches of the season, I thought, again, Manchester United. And Tielemans nicks it off and Pogba's nowhere. And fantastic save. Great bit of football by David De Gea and Tielemans.
But Imtihan, one thing I want to say to you, right, is that, like, one thing about Oli is that, all right, it's not just the lack of, and I hate people trotting out this, what everyone else is saying, lack of a plan or lack of any kind of system or anything like that, but it is the picking of the personnel, and that's why you're right to ask the question. And I tell you what, like, obviously we've got Liverpool a week today. Things don't change. We are getting smashed in that game, and I mean smashed. And it's like, given like the form that Salah's on, I expect us to score against Liverpool, but it's just, at the minute, it's how many do we concede? And I don't know whether you remember the last game, when we played you like a few months ago, it was a dead rubber for us because we'd already qualified for the Champions League and second was assured. But one thing I always say is stick Rashford on Trent Alexander-Arnold, right? Now, that next Sunday is our only chance of getting anything out of the game. But with Oli, you can imagine him picking Pogba to play on the left like he did a few months ago. And that's the thing with Pogba, is that if it's not the lack of a system, it's the inexplicable choices he makes. And do you know what he always does at the end as well? He holds his hands up and says, I got it wrong. And it's like, you should be what do you do all week? What do you do all week?
You can put your hands up.
Players are just too big for Oli. He just can't leave out Ronaldo. He can't leave out Pogba. He can't leave out Bruno.
He's leaving out Cavani.
You can't say Pogba and Ronaldo in the same team.
No,
he's leaving out Cavani. Cavani had a
Cavani wasn't available, was he?
Rashid, go on.
No, my point is, you can't say Pogba and Ronaldo in the same team. Period. You just can't, because neither of them press, right? Yeah. And neither of them had like a defensive sort of thought process, right? Arsenal, right? So then you're already, you're saying your defense isn't great because Varane's currently out, and then you're opening yourself up to being countered over, and that's what happens. United are so easy to counter against by other teams, and so when you've got Liverpool going to come at you, right? It's going to be a hot night through butter.
I
wouldn't play Pogba next week.
What if United win next week?
No, you're right, Rash.
I'm gonna.
And it's the worst thing we're talking about, the fact that we're resorting to McFred. Manchester United have to resort to McFred, and that's because they've got effort, they've got legs, they can chase, they can harry the tackle. Same with Bruno. If you want Ronaldo, you have to play.
This is.
You have to play Sancho on the right wing.
I think Rashid. Let me just.
Otherwise, you're wasting Ronaldo.
Rush is going on.
Rashid. Calm down. Listen, calm down. I obviously I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm taking a lot of pleasure in this. I'm not gonna hide that fact.
Just a second ago.
But no. But seriously, like I think I was probably the most optimistic about Manchester United chances at the start of the season between the four of us. I think I said Cristiano Ronaldo for me is the best player ever to have played football, and he's still in his prime. It's not like he's over the hill. A lot of people were saying so. I never said that. I think he's still there. Sancho, sensational what he did for Borussia Dortmund over the last couple of seasons.
Brilliant
the guy's an absolute brilliant buy. Varane's 4 times Champions League winner. I mean, this is no joke. Like, you've spent serious money on serious players. It's no joke. And I thought even an average manager like Ole, because I think he's an average manager, will be able to compete with for the league with those players. But what's going wrong, Sadat? What do you think's going? What is it?
You asked the question before. I just don't think United can win anything with Ole. He just doesn't have the experience.
No, you can't say that. That's my line.
That's my line. Experience. How much I love him and everything, but he just doesn't have the experience. It's too much for him. It's like Kevin Keegan for England.
Yeah, you love him.
You love him. But that level just wasn't right for him, and it was.
Bilan, do you agree?
So look, like, obviously, and it goes back to what we've always talked about on this show, which was, Oli is the perfect man to get us to a certain stage. That stage has now arrived, and there's a big decision. There's a big decision to be made now, right? Which is, we're still in the Champions League, and we're 4 points off the top. If he goes, and this was the thing, if we'd have sacked Van Gaal at Christmas. In his last season, I know we won the FA Cup, which was a great moment, but we lost out on the Champions League goals difference to Man City. Had we sacked Van Gaal at Christmas when he lost 4 in a row, we'd have comfortably made the Champions League, right? Now, if we have to drop down to the Thursday night's league again by finishing 3rd in our group, then that's a danger, and there's a danger it might not make top 4. However, if we sack him now, right, which, or...
Well, who do you get in return? I mean, Newcastle.
I don't know.
Newcastle are looking for a manager,
So,
aren't they?
Junaid Khalil's texting, he says, who do you replace Ole with? He preempted this question about 5 minutes ago, by the way. So he's really... And then he went on to say, Ole has now lost...
The Ajax manager.
Junaid Khalil, Can I just want to read out a comment from Junaid Khalil. He said, Ole has now lost more Premier League games than Ian Dowie.
And more than Klopp.
And more than Klopp. This job is out of his depth. Why is he comparing Ian Dowie to Jurgen Klopp? I don't get it. But he's just making a point. Basically, bad times for United right now. Bidan against Liverpool. What would your setup be? I mean, Aaron Wan-Bissaka was... I'm sorry, I know you guys really come down hard on Trent not being able to defend, but Wan-Bissaka, like, he gave away the free kick for that fourth goal as well. What's he doing? Right, I know you're trying to...
He's a bit out of sorts at the minute, but like there's just chaos in that United defence. I mean, look, Maguire was unfit.
Shaw's passing was horrific as well. Like 3 times he just passed it out of touch for no reason. Like literally.
Look, we just need to retrench. We need to retrench and just get a bit of coolness back into the. Like if I don't know whether Maguire's going to play against Atalanta, he probably will, to be honest, because it's Wednesday. He'll be able to get a few more sessions in. But I think for that game against Liverpool, look, we do need to go for like. Look, if we can play that double pivot against Liverpool, we would probably have to. I mean, I'm not a big fan of playing it at Old Trafford, but I think against Liverpool we would have to. And it's like I said, Rashford looks back to like if he gets a game against Atalanta, then he has to start against Liverpool on the left. And then look, I don't mind playing Ronaldo up front. I mean, look, obviously I think he'd be brilliant. And then Sancho on the right, as Rash said. So obviously, McFred probably would have to come in the centre, and obviously just Bruno to make up that last outfield position. Just
Ronaldo up top.
Ronaldo up top, yeah.
Ronaldo up top. So we're going to see Ronaldo,
Rashford, Sancho.
We're going to see the best forward in the world versus the best defender in the world.
Well, the best forward in the world is Mohamed Salah, isn't it?
Yeah, potentially. He's sensational right now.
There's rumours that he might go to Newcastle.
Yeah, it's quite highly likely. I think most players will end up going to Newcastle. Look, I want to leave it there with Manchester United. Okay. Genuinely, I think.
Just hope they don't go on a Thursday night, as they were saying earlier, because I've got to coach on a Thursday night.
We have to play the kids. I'm not putting another first teamer into that. Because there's just nothing to play the kids and go out ASAP and then let's rebuild.
Junaid Khalil says Ronaldo versus Matip will be interesting. I think he's being a little bit tongue in cheek there. Right, let's move. Go on.
People are saying Matip's been better than Van Dijk this year. I was speaking to Liverpool fan now. You're saying that Matip's been brilliant.
Matip has been brilliant. And what's really encouraging is we've got Gomez who's getting back to full fitness as well. So
the thing is, I can see United probably even winning against Liverpool. But then if that happens, it won't cover the cracks.
Against Atletico away on Wednesday or Tuesday.
Rashid, I think you've got your own problems, mate. Like, seriously, you can talk about Liverpool, Atletico away, but I mean, there's bigger fish to fry for United fans right now. You mentioned Newcastle, right?
Yes.
Newcastle. That's obviously the biggest news in world football.
Brucey's still manager.
Say again. Brucey's still manager.
Yeah.
He's managing the team that's owned by the
Saudis.
the PIC, Public Investment. Something
public investment, but apparently nothing to do with Mohammed bin Salman. And
apparently nothing to do with human rights abuses in Saudi Arabia.
So that's that.
And
let's just move on.
Nothing to do with
tick that box.
Like that. But I mean, a new powerhouse in world football. Rashid, how do you think that's going to play out? Are they going to spend? They're going to have to spend in January just to make sure they retain their Premier League status, right?
Well, apparently they're going to spend around 50 million in January. I mean, apparently because of the lack of investment and spending and all the rest of it, they've got under FFP, they can spend up to 190 million without having to worry about FFP currently as it stands.
Wow!
But it's being said they'll spend about 50 million at January. I think there's two things. Firstly, I just think Steve Bruce has just been through the media, the onslaught by various media outlets, consistently speculating on his job was disgusting. I just want to put that out there. I'm not saying that because Steve Bruce is a former United player and captain and all the rest of it. I just think the way it was conducted...
It's a bit unsavoury, isn't
it? But it's inevitable, is it not? It's inevitable that was going to happen. When somebody, a big, takeover of a club with so rich, got so much money...
They had reporters outside. There were various media outlets had reporters outside the stadium reporting them hour by hour saying he's going to lose his job. He's going to lose his job, and it was like a fake narrative was just building and building and building.
Yeah, they were just hoping for it to happen. I think
we're talking about the transfer. Okay, then fine. We're talking about they're going to spend so much in the transfer. But do you think before they spend that, do you reckon Bruce will still be in a job?
Ooh, good question.
Well, look, the thing is that
it's unlikely he will be, but the way of doing and the way of not doing it, there's a bit of class, and also I think there's so much hypocrisy around Saudi Arabia. I don't care about the Saudi regime. I think the House of Saudi is horrible. They're horrible, and there's huge human rights abuses. Yes, I agree. But then, what's the UAE then? The UAE.
Easy, Rasha. This isn't a politics show, mate. Easy. Let's stick to the sports, shall we?
There's no such thing as the moral high ground.
Precisely.
Look
at Abramovich's record.
Let's get Bidan in on this. Bidan.
Yeah, I'm just saying, there's no such thing as the moral high ground, and also the whataboutery is just, you can do whataboutery until the cows come home. Do you know what I mean? It's just like no one's 100% clean and all of that. But you're right, Image. I think that
everyone's out for themselves, isn't they? At the end.
But on the manager point of things, is that obviously everyone's saying they want to get Conte in, and I saw Lampard was like, why Lampard? He was being linked with the job, but some people saying it's too early for Conte. But the thing is that if you've got the January window coming up and you can try and get him in, then he's got money to spend there, and then all right, you can just tread water for 6 months and get.
And next season hit the ground running. Yeah.
No, I heard Mourinho's name in there.
Ooh. Oh, I love to hear his quote. He goes, "Yeah, I've always had a special connection to Newcastle because it's Bobby Robson."
Love it, absolutely love it. Genetic Leo says, "I heard Haaland grew up watching Newcastle and is a massive fan. 150 million bid incoming." I'm sure
that's the thing, though, isn't it? Sorry, it's 150 million. I know it's probably tongue in cheek, but the thing is, whoever Newcastle go for, if he's a 30 million player, they're going to ask 60 million.
That's inevitable. That's what United have had to battle with for years.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, look, we were talking, weren't we, about our players. This is like Martial, Lingard. Do you know what I mean? Like, they are two players that could instantly come in January at Newcastle and lift them up the table. I know. Big money. De Gea looks back to his best. So that obviously there was Dean Henderson was being linked with Martial, and obviously looking towards next summer. If those are players that have got no future at Man United, and we want to get Haaland. The next season's going to be a big season for Haaland. Can Madrid get Mbappe and Haaland in one summer? Could they take that eye off Mbappe because they want Haaland because they want Mbappe, because that leaves Haaland give us a better chance of getting him. Do we go big on him? So it's a whole merry-go-round.
I just think the traditional superpowers of world football I've got another member at the table, and it's going to be interesting now because money's no object for that team.
It will take them a couple of seasons, don't it? They're going to first have to buy the best of British, right? The best players outside the top six. So you Calvert Lewin, right? Those sorts of
your Lingards, like you say, Lingard, Martial could potentially go.
To qualify for the UCL, and then they can be in the stage of signing the Haaland. It's like Man City signing Robinho.
There could be another.
Adebayo.
Could be another Blackburn. Blackburn won Premier League and then disappeared after that.
All right, let's move on. I want to talk briefly. We've got the last 5 minutes. Rashid, I'm going to give the floor to you now. There's a few players that we should be watching out for, a little bit under the radar. Now, I'm going to mention the first one, probably not as under the radar, but has started being talked about in circles that we might be involved in. Sort of Rafinha. What are your thoughts on Rafinha?
He's an absolute excellent talent, and we've all seen him. And he's been linked with Liverpool a lot. He's been linked with Liverpool, and the thought process is that Firmino was after the last couple of games wasn't producing for a while for Liverpool. You put Salah in the centre and as a striker, and you bring Rafinha in, and Liverpool, it's like having the red arrows back again. But Rafinha's been absolutely superb, and lots of big clubs are looking at him.
What's his best position though? Because I'm sure he played right wing back. Does he play off the right side of midfield? Does he play wing back? Right wing.
Yeah. Left footed, then he plays off the right wing, and he scored twice for Brazil in midweek on his debut thing.
By the way, Rash, did you see Fred's assist for Neymar?
Oh, sensational!
Brilliant.
Oh, I missed that.
and the
Fred's
finish
always
was
capable
really
of
good by
stuff like
Neymar.
that.
You've got to admit the finish was, despite what we all think of Neymar, and all the, diving and all the rest of it, the finish was, you had to go further. He took the ball further wide, and his finish was absolutely brilliant. But yeah, Fred's assist was great. Rafinha's done brilliant, and there's the other Brazilian kid that we've talked about on the group, the one at Anthony.
Yeah. So, are you familiar with Anthony Sadat?
No.
Anthony is how old is he? He's about 20, isn't he? He's at Ajax. He's moved.
He's moved to Ajax in Brazil, and he's so good. He's lighting up the Eredivisie. And again,
what position? Sorry, did he play?
He plays off the right side. He plays off the right side of midfield as well, I believe.
Yeah.
Very, very tricky winger. Very quick. Very strong. Very young. Really, he's got a really good stature about him, and yeah, just makes the right decisions. The decision making is lightning quick.
Good, and me and Bitsy always used to talk about David Neres at Ajax. He used to play on the right, and he was one of the stars of Ajax. He's on the bench now because of his kid.
Yeah, no, interesting. Obviously, only a matter of time before Anthony is picked up by one of the big teams. And the last player I wanted to mention, you'll have come across him, Choumeni. That sounds like a Chinese dish. A producer's licking his lips. He's thinking about dinner tonight.
Sizzling Choumeni.
Choumeni, centre midfielder, French international. Where does he play his club football right now, Bidan?
Monaco.
Was that Monaco?
Yeah, so look, he's absolutely sensational. He's someone that United should definitely be looking at. He came on in the League of Nations and he played in the final and was really good. And when he came on in the semi-final, he definitely made a marked improvement when France. I don't think he was on for the beginning of the second half, but definitely, obviously, France came back from 2-0 down against Belgium to win that game. It's someone that me and Rash have been talking about because obviously we are obsessed with looking for defensive central midfielders.
It's almost like it's like your part-time job finding defensive centre midfielders that United could possibly sign. Have you got a link with like somebody at United and maybe just ask them to scout? I mean, Choumeni's not going to be under the radar per se. I mean, this guy's an international. Obviously, plays with Pogba in the French setup. So. There's links with United there already via Pogba, but
Pogba's spoken highly about him, and he's even said that United could consider signing him. He's absolutely. I mean, he's about 6'2", 6'3", sort of similar sort of physique like Pogba. Amazing work rate, tackling, interception, can pick a pass. He can play as a 6 or as an 8. And he moved from Bordeaux about a season ago to Monaco.
Yeah.
And Monaco, and then the thought process is anything around 60 million, between 50 to 60 million pounds, they will sell him.
What's his number? Let's call it.
And Chelsea are interested in him currently, as are United and Liverpool.
Liverpool are getting no one. I'll tell you that right now. Liverpool are getting no one.
Is that worrying?
It is a bit, yeah, because we've got Konate. Konate's not really hit the ground running. He's still like a squad player, isn't he? He's not really stepped in. So we've not really bolstered our squad. We've obviously had Van Dijk back, and that counts as a new player compared to last season because he's back from injury. But yeah, it's just it's not really been a big song. Listen, we've gone.
Can I just want to say a story. That's all that I heard after
20 seconds.
Yeah, basically after Luxembourg played Portugal, there was this woman was getting on a plane basically to fly home, and she didn't have the right COVID sort of documentation, and she was given a fine, and the officer said to her, "Look, here's a penalty. You've got to take it." And then she heard these two guys saying, "No, look, we'll take that penalty from you." And she turned around and it was Penaldo and Fernandez arguing over who was going to take the penalty from her.
With that, we will close the show. Thank you so much for joining us and listening, and we'll be back again inshallah next week. Join us then. Assalamu alaikum.